We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences, so the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Just go to Indeed.com/Blue Wire right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild with me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Ohgren? Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps and also a part of the Hockey Podcast Network. Always thanking Dylan and Kyle for having me on board that awesome network coming out of Vancouver, British Columbia. It's a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. The sun is shining, the sky is blue, the temperature dipped right back down again, but it'll go back up. It's just a one-day super cold snap again, I guess. Fun stuff. The Minnesota Wild only played 2 games this past week. One was ridiculously bad. The other was pretty nice and surprising. 1-1 this week. 2 games to review. 4 games to preview coming up. Again, forgive me, my voice is still not 100%. I think it's better than last week. I think it's better. Hopefully the coughing is less. That was tough, yeah. But luckily you can kind of, let's just say, edit on the fly with the sideways equal button. The button with the sideways equal sign, basically. Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyhow, yeah, here we are. Another week for the Minnesota Wild. Cruddy performance versus Nashville. It's like vengeance was in the air. And after that, you pretty much were just yelling this out.
This game is fucking horrible!
Yeah, it was stupid. That's about all there is to say about it. It was stupid. That was January the 18th. Now it's, and then the most recent one, January the 20th versus Colorado. Upcoming, we have Utah, Calgary. Yep, at home. Right? Both of the games this past week were on the road. Utah, Calgary, Chicago, and Toronto are on the road. Chicago and Toronto, the original 6 clubs on the road, up and coming. So interesting group of teams. They're all kind of, I'd have to say, pretty diverse, right? From our division, the other division in the West, back to our division, and then out east. Well, Eastern Conference anyway, with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Interesting. And then a back-to-back with Montreal. And so you go from Ontario to Quebec with Montreal. So coming up to wrap up the month of January already. But we won't be previewing Montreal until next week. So we get one more game of January to talk about next week. I know you're fascinated by that. Yes, you're also fascinated that the sunlight's growing. Yes, it is. That's the most wonderful thing about this time of year, other than being cold. At least, there's signs of better days to come. Anyhow, signs of better days to come after a 6-2 loss to Nashville. Well, thankfully there were. You just had to wait. 6-2 loss to the Nashville Predators. I mean, what more is there to say, really? They sucked. Things opened up really nicely with David Jiricek showing that skating ability. I'm going to have a little take on him here in a second. Showing that skating ability, the rocket shot. Looking good out there. That was awesome. I'm starting to see more and more what they liked about David Jiricek. The first couple of games, it's like, okay, I guess, and I know it's early. I mean, heck, Alex Tuck didn't look impressive when he started, did he? He's just kind of out there, you know what I mean? He existed and all that cute stuff. And then he goes to Vegas, and next thing you know, he's way better than, he looked here. Obviously, like your first couple of games, you're probably not going to be all too great. Even if he has played in the NHL already a bit with the Columbus Blue Jackets. But still, seeing more signs of what's to come with David Jiricek and why everybody was so intrigued with him in the draft years ago, and why Bill Guerin was willing to give up as much as he did to get David Jiricek. We're also noticing that the name David seems to be popular over in that part of the world. David Spacek, David Jiricek. Okay, well, that's at least two of them, and they're both in our organization. Spacek, unfortunately, is a minus 15, by the way. We'll talk about him later. This show will probably be a little longer than last week, but maybe still slightly shorter, depending on how this continues. My voice is what it is. It's the potential coughing that can kind of take over and make things tougher. Boldy would get a power play goal after Nashville would score 4 consecutive goals over the course of the first and second period. 4 unanswered goals by the Nashville Predators. Very sloppy play in front, and of course, yes, we got our revenge. Yay, woohoo! Trennan was the one to go after Zachary. Just Zach. LaHaru. I think I'm saying it correctly. I'm probably not, but I don't know. Yakov Trennan, which I am saying correctly, was the one to actually battle with Zach LaHaru. So in the revenge battle and all that cute stuff. But after that, things just kind of got crappier and crappier. Luke Shen, it was like right after that. 2 seconds later, Marcus Foligno with Luke Shen. It was cute and everything. Janikowski with the Hartman a few minutes later. Brock Faber, roughing on LaHaru as well. So, there was a bit of that. I remember that. And then Faber also had a broken stick penalty. So that's interesting. Got kind of chippy, kind of sloppy, and the Wild got creamed, to say the least. Boldy would score on the power play to make it 4-2. Forsberg would score unassisted. Several minutes later, the Wild couldn't get anything past Soros, and it was just not a good day. I don't think Fleury was all that sharp either, but he also did face 37 shots, so there's that. The 6th goal was an empty netter to make it 6-2, to make us all kind of depressed. So there was that. 6-2. Brady Shea, of course, the former Gopher, Forsberg, and Jonathan Marchessault, the former Vegas Golden Knight. Anyhow, enough about that game. I try not to cough once again. My take on David Jiricek, again, he also was able to get a nice assist in the Colorado game as well, so we'll get to that here. I'm opening it right now anyway. But my thoughts on David Jiricek, it's like, I should have saw this a little earlier, but then when you're seeing him play and his style of play, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like you're trying to get basically a Dumba replacement, like what Dumba was supposed to be in a lot of ways. I understand they're probably different, like they're different players. They're not everybody's the same, obviously, or like nobody's the same. Everybody's different. They all have their different tendencies and such. But when you kind of put the ingredients together, the components of what type of player Jiricek is, what type of player Dumba was, not the best defensive player. You might get frustrated defensively at times with Jiricek, but and obviously, Jiricek's a much larger player. Dumba was like 6 foot, so he's kind of like middle of the road in size. Jiricek's a big guy. Also, again, both right shot. Okay, so that's the bare basic stuff. But yes, offensive minded with a big shot. Matt Dumba had a big shot. Really, really good skater. Matt Dumba was a really, really good skater. So you're kind of putting those things together in a lot of ways. That's kind of, I think, what the vision here is to kind of get that Dumba-esque type player back in the organization, as we like to say in hockey, organization. You have to say it with a Canadian accent, right? But the outstanding skating, the big shot, more of an offensive-minded guy. It kind of is what it is. Obviously, you're going to have pluses and minuses. Let's put it this way: if Jiricek was a great defender, he'd probably be impossible to get. He'd be like a franchise defenseman. So there's that. I think Faber would probably be harder to get, right? At this stage, where once upon a time, you'd thought Faber was part of a trade, a big piece in a trade for a nice player. So there was that. And then you also got another draft pick to go with him. So at the time, Faber was thought of highly, but not as highly as he would become. Yeah, we didn't think he'd be as good as he ended up becoming. Jiricek, yes. I'm seeing him as that Dumba type of player for the hopeful long-term future for the Minnesota Wild, with minus the pectoral injury that ruined everything. See, because after the pectoral injury, who do you really compare Dumba to? I don't know. A very rich man's John Merrill? I don't know. And I'm not trying to be mean to either one of the guys. I'm not trying to say, Merrill sucks or Dumba was terrible. But Dumba certainly wasn't anywhere near the player that a lot of us hoped he was going to become after that pectoral injury with Matthew Tkachuk. So that was disappointing how all that took place. Definite heartbreaking. So that's kind of how I see Jiricek, kind of like the Dumba, I guess. So hopefully that's not too stupid of a take. Who knows what people are going to think. Colorado game, again, you got to see Jiricek get an assist along the way. You also got to see Ohgren get a couple of assists after being a -4 versus the Nashville Predators. That was extremely disappointing. Goudreau got it to Ohgren. Ohgren was able to slide it over to Jake Middleton for a powerful shot to open up the scoring in this game, 1-0. As the Wild would go up 1-0 for the second straight game. Hopefully this time they win, right? And luckily they ended up doing so. Incredible goaltending by Blackwood in this one, but incredible goaltending.
We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences, so the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Just go to Indeed.com/Blue Wire right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
By Marc-Andre Fleury as well. Both of the goaltenders did an amazing job for the most part, I would have to say. The players in front as well, blocking shots and such, was pretty impressive. Man alive. Joel Eriksson Ek took 34 faceoffs in this game, and he was .500. 17 wins, 17 losses. That's funny. 34 faceoffs. Mikko Rantanen, yeah, it's just it's interesting statistics to look at. Mikko Rantanen won 12 and lost 3, just dominated. Casey Middlestat, the former Gopher, for 5 seconds, and of course from, was it Eden Prairie? Eden Prairie High School star. Obviously Minnesota, no kidding. 14 faceoffs, and he lost 10 of them. I don't know, Middlestat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to pan out to be as much as some people thought he was. A lot of us would tell you he should have stayed with the Gophers another year. I remember he kind of started slow there and then got really good at the end of the season and then said, adios, amigos. And that was it. Depressing. In the real rush to go to the Buffalo Sabres. Yay. Now he's on at least his second team, if I remember correctly. So, well, he's got 29 points. That's not too shabby. Minus 14 is shabby, though. That's shabby. He did have 59 points in 22-23, so definitely emerged. It's just kind of out of the gate slowly. That's what kind of bugged me for a minute. But, yeah, I got a little better, and now on his second club, which is, there's nothing wrong with that per se. We'll see how Colorado turns out. They've definitely been getting better and better, and their goaltending has been pretty damn good. So they deserve credit there for the nice trades there to fix up the goaltending. That was pretty quick, and some teams are just damn good at that. I remember how happy we were when Dubnyk came in after struggling like hell with Darcy Kemper forever. Darcy's been all over the place, hasn't he? But he's back with the Kings now, isn't he? That was the first team he went to, because he always played well against the Kings when he was with the Wild. And then I don't know. I guess the Kings were like, yeah, we like this guy. Let's give him a shot. And then years later, wound up with Colorado Avalanche winning the Cup. Obviously with Arizona as well, did pretty well there. Did very well with Arizona. Did Mr. Darcy Kemper. Excuse me. So guys returning at this stage, Jacob Lauko finally back. That's good. Looks like the only, AAA kind of guy is like Devin Shore. Where Ohgren, I think he's an NHL. Well, maybe he's more of a AAA guy still, but still got those 2 assists, and that felt really good. The guy who just reeks of AAA quad A is Mariusz Nadinov, unfortunately. But did he actually? Yeah, he won in the faceoff circle. 4 wins, 2 losses. Good job. He actually had the highest winning percentage. A lot of guys were 50-50 all the way down. Nobody actually was losing in the faceoff circle. It was either 50% or higher. That's funny. I know it's a boring stat. Sorry. It's just interesting. I guess it's boring, but it's interesting. That didn't sound good, did it? That was really dumb. I'm sorry. But anyhow, why are there 2 of these? Should be only 1. Okay, let's close that one. Yeah, that's weird. I had 2 of the same document opened, and they were different. It's real weird. Anyhow, Kaprizov and Spurgeon will return tonight. Happy days are here again, as some of us may have said a few days ago. Let's continue. What just happened? Yeah, Kaprizov and Spurgeon will be returning tonight for the Utah Yeti, or whatever they're called. Obviously, the silly battle with Nashville is a massive bust. Just wish so much we could keep Ohgren up. I mean, it's kind of like whenever Marcus Johansson is out and with his 6-7 goals, yay, we're so excited to have Marcus Johansson. It's just a miracle worker for us. Whenever he's out, it's like, yes, we get to see Ohgren. We get to see Ohgren, and will he really do something this time, or earlier in the year, not so much. Marcus Johansson did play pretty much all season, though. 5 goals and 11 assists on the year in 44 games. It's just, I don't know. You'd like to believe that Ohgren, even now, could provide a little more than that. You'd like to believe that, but I don't know. Maybe not. Long term, I don't think there's much of a doubt, though, that Ohgren is going to be a superior player to Marcus Johansson. And put it this way, if he isn't, Lord. That's all I got to say about that. Unfortunately, there is still one guy missing. That's the one kind of bummer is, he's still out. Jonas Brodin, he just misses too much time. And a lot of us have complained about that for years because, well, for good reason. Damn it. You're a lot more valuable on the ice than in the press box. I don't know. It's frustrating. Or wherever the heck they are in the training room or whatever. 16 points on the year, too, in 31 games. That's actually really nice for a guy who's obviously looked on as, a defensive-minded defenseman. But Jonas Brodin does provide offense off and on. A lot of you know that already, way before I mentioned that. But still, it's been good. Unfortunately, Rossi's quieted a bit. Marco Rossi, Zuccarello. Yeah, he's still about a point a game pace. That's pretty good. Brock Faber's been wonderful in his return. Now it's 6 goals, 15 assists, 21 points in 43 games. Actually, still about a half a point kind of guy. Half a point a game kind of guy. Ohgren, for the first 9 games this season, had 0 points, so that was a bit of a bummer. Or bugger, as they might say in Australia. But 2 assists versus Colorado. Hopefully he can continue that a bit because the guy he is replacing in the lineup has not returned yet. So, good. Good for Ohgren. Hopefully we can continue to impress and show signs. And obviously, if he does go back to Iowa, and he probably will, he'll probably continue to be pretty much a point a game, if not beyond that, in Iowa. So definitely showing signs of encouragement is Liam Ohgren. And so is David Jiricek. But unfortunately, he has been officially sent back to Iowa with the return of Jared Spurgeon. Understandably, but it's kind of a bummer at the same time. A lot of us are probably hoping for, him sticking around after what we got to see. That was pretty good. But it kind of is what it is. It kind of is what it is right now because the lineup is, pretty full at the defenseman position, except for Jonas Brodin, which I don't know. Do you have to have Maryland Bogosian? But I don't. Bogosian I'm okay with. I better shut up about that. So yes, defensive pairings, Brock Faber, Jack Middleton. This is right to left. Jared Spurgeon, Declan Chisholm. So he's playing on the left. That's very interesting. On the second pairing with Jared Spurgeon. Zach Bogosian on the right. John Merrill on the left. Huh. Okay. These are kind of weird. It doesn't sound right to me, but maybe I'm weird. Maybe I'm weirder than anyone else. Marco Rossi, at least as of right now. I mean, he's been up and down from the first and second lines, of course. Marco Rossi with Zuccarello on the right and Kaprizov on the left. Second line, Joel Eriksson with Ryan Hartman on the right. Matt Boldy on the left. Freddie Gaudreau centering Liam Ohgren on the left. Foligno on the right. Okay. Huznadinov, and then there's your fourth line. Huznadinov with Trenin on the left. Jakub Lauko, on the right. Fourth line is solid, but I mean, you don't get many points, except for, I guess, Trenin, sometimes. I don't know. Love seeing Ohgren out there, though. Really do. Ohgren or Ogie or whatever they like to call him. So, very happy about that. Apparently, one of the main reasons you're seeing Marc-Andre Fleury more out there is Phil Gustafsson has been sick. Joined the club, unfortunately, and even though I don't like to call anybody sick. I don't like to call myself sick ever, but sometimes it just is what it is. I'm pretty much recovered. It's just the stupid voice isn't all the way back yet. It's just kind of how it goes. What the heck? Sorry. Good question. How far can this team, just kind of me throwing this out there, how far can this team go with the band back together and the young guys surging? The crappy part is a lot of the young guys are getting sent back again, which is annoying. But it's how it is, because you got all these guys in the lineup, and we got to wait, and we get to wait some more, and we get to wait, and we get to wait, and wait, and wait, and wait, and wait, and wait, and wait. Ugh. So I feel bad for the Adam Beckmans out there. We'll talk about him for a couple seconds, I suppose, in the... I usually like to check up on players like him in the prospect segment. We'll talk about the other guys. William and Yurov, that's prospects. Stramel, very, very exciting. But can this team continue? I think so. I'm going to stick to third place in the division right now. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado or Dallas passes the Wild, but the crappy part is they might both pass the Wild. And I don't know if there's any catching Winnipeg. They beat Colorado in OT last night, much to our chagrin. Of course, you don't want to see Colorado win either, but that's the crappy part about those kind of games. You're kind of stuck with either one. So there's that. That's kind of about it. It's just 2 games, so I don't even know why I'm dragging this out. Other than, of course, you want to make the show more topical than just talking about games anyway. And the good news is guys like Ohgren and where am I going? Jiricek are stepping up, and that's encouraging. And then you also again now have Kaprizov and Spurgeon returning tonight for Utah, so extremely exciting there. Extremely exciting. And hopefully we can stay away from stupid fights with the Nashville Predators, because I don't know, whenever it gets funky with Nashville, it always ends up a lopsided game like that. It feels like that's like the 10th time that's happened, doesn't it? It does. Like whenever things kind of get a little funky, we start getting mad and stuff, Nashville just smokes us, whether the Nashville's good or they suck. Like they've had great seasons, obviously. This year they had a stacked lineup and they've been terrible, but they looked like elite against the Wild on the 18th. Anyhow, we'll take a quick break and come back and look at the upcoming games. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 2. Again, the previews and all of that. But first, we are going to hear from DraftKings. Watching our favorite NHL players is the gift that keeps on giving. And playing Pick 6 from DraftKings, an official partner of the NHL, is a way to take a shot at even more cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and select 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Pick 6 is available in most states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Missouri, and more. And speaking of gifts, new Pick 6 customers play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Welcome to the Super Bowl season, you could say, from DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 play per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. And thank you always, DraftKings, for that. So now we jump into the previews, if humanly possible. The Utah Hockey Club. I don't like saying it. Nice color scheme. I've said that 50 times probably already because it is a nice color scheme. Just looking forward to the future, I guess, with what's to come with that as we sip our spicy V8. Yep, I love it. Timberwolves Explosions, the lemon and the tomato juice, dang it. Utah Hockey Club, what are they, 20, 19, and 7? Yeah, that's what I thought. 6th place in the Central. The Wild are 28, 15, and 4, and still 2nd place in the Central. Gotta love that. Injuries, Marcus Johansson. Injured reserve as of Jan 16. Thanks for the information. Well, we know what it is, though. It's like head injury, right? Jonas Brodin, injured reserve as of Jan 18. Don't know much about that one, unfortunately. And one of the guys in the system there, Tony Grosenick, ACL back in October. Yep, that's the Wild. Utah, Mikhail Sergachev, did not play against Winnipeg on Jan 20th. Thanks for the info there. Dylan Gunther, injured reserve as of Jan 14. They don't say nothing, boy. They don't say nothing. And they say Robert Bertuzzo, the head coach, Andre Turingay, said Monday, Jan 20th, that Bertuzzo is getting closer to full health but isn't yet ready to return to game action, as per Cole Bagley of KSL Sports. It's in the game. Okay, sorry. I had to do that. The comparisons, Utah is 22nd in goals, Wild are 18th. Goals for. Yep, goals. Goals against, Utah's 13th, Wild are 12th. Power play, Utah's 13th, Wild are 23rd. Penalty kill, Utah's 10th. Not bad. Wild are 29th. Penalty minutes, Utah's 30th. Ouch. Wild are still 11th. That's not too bad. The series is tied so far as back in. So we've had some pretty close games here. A higher scoring one and a very low scoring one. One that went to the shootout with the Wild winning on Tuesday, December the 10th. A shootout victory for Minnesota, technically 5-4, went 4-4 to overtime into shootout, blah, blah, blah. Wild win that one. And then Utah wins in regulation, 2-1, 10 days later, Friday the 20th of December. Now we have this January 23rd here. That would be tonight. And then Thursday, February 27th, lots of sunlight coming in this area. That's the Wild will play in Utah. And now we continue to looking at the Utah Hockey Club, or whatever they call themselves. Good. At least it's still there. And everything didn't disappear. Vejmelka, 2.54 goals against average. He's been pretty good. Connor Ingram's the backup, averaging 3.3 goals against. Vejmelka, 91% save percentage. Ingram, 88.2. Jackson Stauber with a shutout. He's the only guy with a shutout. Yup, Minnesota native there. And Jackson Stauber. Clayton Keller, the young captain. Very, not as young as he used to be, but pretty still young. Nice, solid, very good franchise player for the Utah Hockey Club. 50 points, 16 goals, 34 assists on the season to lead in both categories. Logan Cooley, former Gopher, almost a point a game now. Not bad. 46 games, 42 points, 15 goals, 27 assists. Second in both categories. Dylan Gunther's tied with Clay Keller with goals, but only 18 assists. Still good numbers. But isn't he hurt, though? Unfortunately, 34 points in 40 games so far for him. Ian Cole has played in all 46 games. 1 goal, 12 assists for 13 points. Bukestad the Bugler has 12 points, 5 goals, 7 assists, and he did score against us earlier in the year, which was really annoying. Josh Down, pretty sure he is related to Shane. 15 games, 5 points so far. Now I screwed everything up by clicking on this. Yeah, from Arizona. He was a second-round pick by the Coyotes, now which are now, of course, Utah. Now I screwed everything up by clicking on him because I can't go to the next group of teams. That was great. Why did I do that? But winnable game. I think the Wild get the job done versus the Utah Coyotes. I'm mad at myself for what I just did, though, because now I get to start all over for things. Kind of go on the fly here, though. But yes, I think the Wild get the job done. Should be a close game. 3-2, we'll say. 3-2. So it'll be a different score. It'll be kind of in the middle, like middle scoring-ish kind of game, kind of slightly low scoring. Most likely guy to score will be Matt Boldy against the Utah Hockey Club. The Wild get the job done. 3-2. Now the Calgary Flames, one of my favorites historically, one of my favorite hockey teams of all time. Going back to the North Star days, except for when the North Stars played against them, because we always lost to Calgary. We always lost to them. It was annoying. Injury report, Connor Zary, injured reserve as of Jan 10th. Justin Kirkland, center, not goaltender, out for the season with his ACL in November. I didn't even have to look. Yeah, Anthony Mantha also ACL, early November on the 5th. Man, ouch. So that C has a different meaning on the logo, I guess, kind of. ACL. No, not really trying to be funny. Just it's a bummer. It is. As for the comparisons, Calgary's 31st in goals, 9th in goals against, 20th on the power play, 30th in penalty kill, 28th in penalty minutes. Ouch. And not too surprisingly, Calgary tends to kind of own the Wild as well, historically, except in our inaugural season where we flat out owned them. It was amazing. It was fun. I'm like, wow, we actually have a team that beats Calgary. And Calgary was the only team worse than the Wild in the standings that year. So there was a bit of that as well. So the Wild lost in the shootout, 2-1 in the shootout, 4-3 in the final score, you could call it. Oh, I forgot to look at the last 5 games with Utah quick. Then I'll come right. Damn, why is it doing this? Calgary's 3-2 in their last 5, but we're going to come right back to that. Utah 2-3 in their last 5. 5-3 to the Rangers. I wonder if that means anything. But yeah, a 5-2 win over Winnipeg is extremely interesting, extremely impressive on the 20th. So they haven't played in a few days. Have the Utah hockey club. So now we're down to the Calgary Flames, a team with an actual name here. 3-2 in their last 5. Pretty low scoring, or not low scoring, but closer games. Though, well, I don't know what I'm talking about. 5-2 win over Chicago not too long ago. And a 4-1 loss to St. Louis. Weird. But then a 3-1 win over Winnipeg. So people are beating Winnipeg all of a sudden. Utah and Calgary beating Winnipeg. The Flames haven't played since the 18th. What's going on? So that's a bit of a break. This next game is, when is this game? January 25th on Saturday. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be playing in between now and then. Right? Yes. Buffalo tonight, and then in Minnesota on Saturday. Another winnable game, but we'll see. Yeah, Calgary's has had our number pretty much. Dustin Wolf in net, 2.5 goals against average with 2 shutouts. Dan Vladar, who's had some crappy games, and he's had some okay ones. He's got a couple shutouts on the year. Dustin Wolf, 91.7 save percentage. Dan Vladar, just under 89%. So definitely a big drop-off there. Jonathan Huberdeau with only 32 points. What the heck? But 18 goals to lead the way. -8. That just seems to be Calgary. Minus. It should be C-. That's kind of their letter grade every year they play. They're a C- every year. You know, it's like, and I like the Flames, but you can tell they're disappointed, of course. Mackenzie Weegar, 5 goals, 17 assists, 22 total points. Yeah, that trade didn't work out at all. Florida won the Cup and Colorado didn't. Put it that way. They just didn't. Yeah, that trade didn't work out at all. Oh. Bummer. And they're like in the bottom echelon in everything except goals against, thanks to Dustin Wolf. So he's been the Theo Fleury Award winner, you could say. Or who else is there? Like the Mike Vernon Award winner. Mike Vernon, the best Calgary, player, basically. Winner for the year so far. Probably Dustin Wolf. He's probably the MVP. He's the reason why they're semi-competitive. 22, 16, and 7. That's actually not bad at all. Fourth in the Pacific, I believe, the second wild card still. So a winnable game, but I don't know. We always seem to lose to Calgary. So I'm not sure what to say with this one. It's a tough call. I'll say win. I'm going to step out in faith and say the Wild get the job done. 3-2. Yeah, again, I know it's a boring score, but it is what it is. This one goes to like a shootout or OT. Let's say overtime with a Kaprizov game winner. Kaprizov game winner in OT. The Wild win 3-2. Calgary does get a point, but the Wild get 2 over the Flames. To Chicago we go. Oh boy, back-to-back situation. Sunday the 26th. Well, you hope we can win both of these. I mean, if we're going to lose one of them, it's going to be to Calgary, almost certainly. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully Gustafsson will be feeling better by this point because, well, it's a back-to-back, so you can't really mess around with that. Got to pull up that Blackhawks here now that I got to do it manually because, I had it all set and I clicked on Doan. So, oops. Soderblom is the goaltender along with Peter Mrazek. They're both around 3 or higher. Soderblom is 2.92 goals against average, 90.7 in the save percentage. No shutouts at all for Chicago this season. Mrazek is 89.6 in the save percentage and 3.26 in goals against average. Blackhawks are 15, 28, and 4, 8th place, dead last in the Central, and I do believe dead last in the Western Conference. So that sucks. Jason Dickinson, not Dixon, but Dickinson, missed Wednesday's practice, and that's it. All right, he missed Wednesday's practice as of the 22nd of January, just now. So it was Wednesday. Pat Maroon, what a Maroon. Yeah, former Wild player, of course, for a minute. Did not play on Monday. Thanks. Craig Smith, not the former Timberwolves undersized power forward, also did not play on Jan 20th. Numbers, 28th in goals, 30th in goals against. This is the Blackhawks, of course. 8th on the power play. Where'd that come from? 5th in the penalty kill. Where did that come from? 19th in penalty minutes and 20th in shooting percentage. Why did I even say that? The Wild did lose to the Blackhawks this year. I forgot. They did. Back on November the 10th, we lost to the Blackhawks. Wow. We lost to the Blackhawks. Overtime, though. At least we got a point out of it. But I remember the Wild were playing like dog dookie at the time. It was like, what is going on, guys? Since then, it's been 3-2 and 4-3, respectively. Friday the 29th of November. Monday the 23rd of December. Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. Sunday, January 26th. It's the rubber match. Wild could officially win this series on Sunday. I'm feeling optimistic. I am. I'm feeling optimistic. Chicago is 1-4 in their last 5, including a shootout loss to Nashville. 5-2 loss to the Calgary Flames. 4-3 loss to Carolina. Yet they beat Vegas. Go figure. I guess Vegas is struggling a little bit lately, though. 5-3. They beat Vegas 5-3 on January 18th. Weird. That's weird. Come on now. Okay, Connor Bedard, 13 goals, 28 assists. It's like he's good, but I don't know. He's not as impressive as the Sharks rookie, is he? Celebrini, is he? I don't think he's as impressive. You know how there's the phenom at the top of the draft, Some of them take a while. Some of them are like, holy crap, this guy's on his way. Like, years ago, Sid the Kid and McDavid and guys like that. It's like, okay, yeah. It didn't take long. Connor Bedard, like, there's obviously, you can see it. You can see the flashes. You can see the talent. 41 points in 47 games is nothing to sneeze at. But I don't know, Celebrini just seems like there's more there. Doesn't it, though? I mean, doesn't it seem that way? Tyler Bertuzzi, not Todd, but Tyler, of course. Obviously Todd. He must be in his 50s. 27 points, 47 games, 17 goals, 10 assists. As leading the club in goals is Tyler Bertuzzi. Teuvo Teravainen, the former Hurricane, 10 goals, 23 points, 10 goals, 23 assists, 33 points in 47 games. So knock on wood, these guys are at least staying healthy. Knock on wood. Seth Jones, yep. They were excited about it at the time, but it's just like nothing's happening. At least he's productive. 4 goals, 16 assists, but he misses time. Taylor Hall, yep. Man.
We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences, so the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Just go to Indeed.com/Blue Wire right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Remember when he was like a star? Man, he was so good years ago. 9 goals, 15 assists, 24 points in 46 games. Brody, wasn't he on the Flames not that long ago? Alec Martinez, what the heck? Yeah, they got all these players, but they just don't get better. Alec Martinez from the Kings and the Vegas Golden Knights, winning organizations. It's like it doesn't matter. Wild get the job done, 4-2 victory for Minnesota over the Blackhawks on Sunday. The most likely guy to score, Jake Middleton. Jake Middleman Middleton is going to score against the Chicago Blackhawks. Jake Middleton will score against the Blackhawks. The Wild will have won 4 in a row. 4-game win streak. Yeah, optimistic. I'm feeling optimistic for now until they play the Toronto Maple Leafs. Because do we ever beat Toronto? I mean, once in a while, I guess. Not that much. Yeah, that should have been enough, and it was, actually. Blackhawks 1-4. Yeah, they're terrible. Don't lose to the Blackhawks. That'd be a huge waste, especially if you lose to Calgary the night before. Wednesday, January 29th, 6 p.m. in Scotiabank Arena. Toronto, 30-17-2. First place in the Atlantic Division. Loss. Even though this is a road game and the Wild are great on the road. Loss. I'm being honest. I don't think so. The Chicago game is a road game too, so we'll keep beefing up that road record, and hopefully the Wild do get 2 wins at home. That would really be nice. Matthew Nyes, the former Gopher, did not return on Wednesday the 22nd versus Columbus. Connor DeWer, the former Minnesota Wild, obviously fourth liner who would show flashes and then do nothing for like 30 games. You know what I mean? I liked him though, damn it. So I was kind of sad when we traded him, but I mean, who's Nadinov? Connor DeWer? I don't know. It's like I don't know, perfect match. I don't know. He did not return versus Columbus, so that's nice, I guess. Not. Max Pacioretty, who was hurt about 50,000 times over his career, at least. Injured reserve on Jan 18th, retroactive to Jan on Jan 22nd, retroactive to Jan 18th. Pardon me. Max, I'm on the injured list. 3/4 of the season, Pacioretty. Yep, he's maxing out those injured games. Yeah, isn't that cute? I know. Toronto had won 3 in a row, pretty decisively, like 7-3 over Montreal, 5-3 over Tampa, but a 4-3 close one versus New Jersey on the 16th. I went backwards basically. 4-1 loss to the Stars on the 14th, and then a 5-1 thrashing by Columbus over Toronto on Jan 22nd, and that's when all those guys got hurt. Weird. Thrashing. Minnesota did win this year over Toronto. What the heck? And that's after right around the same time when we lost in overtime 2-1 to the Blackhawks. We lost to the Blackhawks. We lost to the Blackhawks and beat Toronto in the same week. What? Well, it's probably going to be the opposite this week. Beat Chicago, lose to Toronto. That's my guess. I know. Dude, do you really think we're going to sweep the Toronto Maple Leafs? It's not the playoffs or anything. You know when you could just about guarantee the Wild are going to advance in the playoffs? We play Toronto in the playoffs. Yep. Or Toronto finally comes out of their slump. Something's got to give, right? Yeah, because Toronto doesn't know how to. They have the greatest records and they have these great teams, and then here comes Boston or whatever, and they're down 3-1, and it's like, whatever, bleep this. It's like, see you next year, guys. Have a good golf game, guys. It's about it. Otherwise, team comparisons, 9th in goals. Obviously, Toronto's 9th in goals, 15th in goals against, 13th on the power play, 12th on the penalty kill, 13th in penalty minutes. Wow. Well, let's look at the numbers of players a little bit. Anthony Stolarz, familiar name, 2.15 goals against average. Awesome. Only 17 games. Save percentage of 92.7. That is something. He's had 2 overtime losses, though, for some reason. 9-5 on the season. Joseph Woll, who's been the Wall, I guess. 17-8 on the year. In 24 games started, 25 total. 2.69 goals against average. Save percentage of 90.7. Mitch Marner is one of the leading scorers in all of hockey. 15 goals, 52 assists. With 67 points, William Nylander, 28 goals to lead the club. 28 goals, 22 assists, and 50 total points. John Tavares becoming more of a veteran now, because he is. 20 goals, 22 assists, 42 points. Austin Matthews, who's oft injured Matthews, 20 goals, 18 assists, 38 points in only 34 games. Matthew Nyes, 47 games, 18 goals, 13 assists for 31 points. He's a -2 somehow. Huh. He's a minus. Well, a lot of guys are minus. How? How are you -16, Morgan Riley? What happened? Well, I don't know. Maybe they're not that great, but they're certainly winning games. It's a weird team. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, wasn't he on Arizona years ago? One of those defensemen. Yeah, kind of cool. 20 points, 48 games, 3 goals. Connor Dewar, 3 assists in 29 games. Wow. 3 assists in 29 games. 3. Wow. That's awful. That's just awful. Where's Uznadinov again? What does he have? 4 points. Ooh, he's got the 3 assists and a goal. Aha. Who's coming out ahead now? Yeah, but in 44 games and not 29. But hey, at least he's playing. Dang it. Ryan Reeves, well, he does his fight people, I guess. Yeah, he got a pretty big one the other night. Good for him. That's all I got to say about that. I don't miss him too much, and I don't know. I don't think the Wild are going to miss him either. A 5-3 loss? No. What's their offense? 4-2 loss for the Wild versus Toronto. Most likely guy to score. Jared Spurgeon's going to find the back of the net, but the Wild will not win the game. A 4-2 loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs, unfortunately, in Toronto, of course, Scotiabank Arena. With that said, so let's look at the prospects right away. Jesper Wallstedt's still out, unfortunately. We're going to look at Iowa Wild shortly, for a little bit here. 4-0 loss last night. That's just so much fun. You give it 4 goals and don't get a damn thing out of it. Not one assist, or not one goal in the entire game, so very depressing. David Spacek is now -15, so that's kind of depressing. Brandon Gauntz is a -14. Not good for a 30-year-old, I don't think, but that's just the way I see it. Toporowski still at 14 points, and he's a +6. Iowa native playing in Iowa, good for him. Wallstedt has just been a depressing overall season. Hilav, I'm probably saying the name wrong, 2.89 goals against average. He took the 4-0 loss last night, unfortunately, for the Iowa Wild. Jack Pertz only a -3 in 25 games, so that's better than some other people. Stay-at-home defenseman with only 2 assists so far. Again, a high draft pick recently. Now I'm coughing on the air here. So, yeah, sorry for that. Anyhow, that's kind of the Iowa Wild. I don't really have a whole lot to say. They're depressing. I'm just going to keep going. Oh, come on. Now this thing is locked up on me here. My apologies. Yep, Lambos is only 4 points. Yep, like I said, off and on every freaking week, it seems like. Yeah, I don't know. It's depressing. It really is. Sorry, I'm looking at all the different players here. My apologies. Moving on to college, Ryan Healy, now 6 points. Okay, all right. Right shot defenseman finally playing now for Harvard. And a couple points here. 1 goal, 5 assists. That's better than where we were before. So good. Good to see him playing. Ryan Healy for Harvard. Gregor Lorenz for Denver, 6 points on the year. 3 goals, 3 assists in 22 games versus 30 points last year in 40 games. Riger, I don't know, man. Danila Yurov again. Supposedly he's like not that far away, depending on how long the Metal League season goes. Like last year, went all the way to the final, and they won. So good for them. That's awesome that they won the whole thing there in Russia there. So in the KHL. But depending on how the season goes there, Yurov could be on Minnesota as late as April, not as early as April. So it could be earlier. It could be maybe the end of February and March or something. Wouldn't that be amazing? Because their season ends earlier. They start earlier over there in Russia. Pretty crazy. Jimmy Clark for the Gophers. Kind of up and down weekend against, what are they called? In football, the runners-up in the national championship. Notre Dame in hockey, of course. Notre Dame in the hockey world. Jimmy Clark, 13 points in 25 games. That does exceed last year's 11 in 39. So, okay. Step forward there. Kalen Parker. More points than last year as well. No, he doesn't. No. 15 points in 22 games so far for the Calgary Hitmen, but also had 12 points in 19 games for the Moose Jaw Warriors. That adds up to 27 points in 41 games. Oh, okay. Solid. And he's a plus 21 on the season. That's nice. That's a nice step up, I suppose. Aaron Pionk for the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs. And from Hermantown, hockey town, Hermantown, 18 assists, 1 goal in 22 games for Duluth. And he's a plus 4 versus a minus 9 last year. So good for him. Riley Heights with 52 points in 35 games, 20 goals, 32 assists. Feels like a step back, actually, a little bit, unfortunately. So that's a bummer. Kumpalainen, not sure what's going on there, but yep, he's obviously not in North America anymore. 11 points in 33 games, and he's a minus 8 for Liga. Charlie Stramel, obviously, he was the prospect of the week this week for M&W Young Guns / M&W Prospects. Michigan State University. Charlie Stramel has been definitely the most improved player in the Wild organization, I think, this year when it comes to the prospects. Last year, a lousy 8 points with Wisconsin in 34 games. This year, he's one of the best players on the team, on one of the best teams in the country, if not, I think they are number one, and they gave us a hurting. Charlie Stramel, the 21 points in 24 games, been an absolutely wonderful story, and he did get the prospect of the week. A lot of us were pretty thrilled about that. Let's give our 8 games and 15 penalty minutes and a minus 3 for the Brampton Steelheads, otherwise injured. Bummer. Chase Woodsky, the 5th round goalie. Red Deer Rebels, if it would load. As something is going down. What the heck? Now we're getting the server down. That's a bummer. Might have to just kind of call it here. Looks like, yep, that's on Hockey Database. Crap. That's kind of how that goes. Otherwise, there's other options which I probably should have had up earlier. The other big one. Oh shoot. Yep, we'll get it going. Where's it going? There it is. Yep, Elite Prospects is the other option. Just a couple more to go here anyway. Chase Woodsky. Come on now. Watch, this one has a server down at the same time. Wouldn't that be something? Okay, this is why. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of a mess. Yeah, it's too much kind of popping up, and you get like, okay, what's going on here again? What planet am I on? Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what planet I'm on. I've decided to leave. Red Deer Rebels, yes. Chase Woodsky, 3.52 goals against average. Nothing to write home about at all. 12 and 19, 89.7 save percentage. Was great in the playoffs last year. In fact, he was better last year just generally for the Red Deer Rebels. Playoffs last year, 7 games, 2.48 goals against average, 4-2 record. Not bad. Not bad. This year, I would say a step back for sure. Come on, please. And then you get a whole lot of nothing. Yep, that's how that goes. Apologize for the delay. I know it's annoying. Let's just look at the important guys. Steve William, I believe he's still at 20. I remember now before, but it's screwing around here. Yes, 24 points in 20 games. That's what I thought. Yeah, because obviously they haven't played since I last looked. Yeah, I remember he had 6 points in 7 games for the gold medal-winning USA World Junior Classic, minus 20. Yep, that was awesome. Under 20, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Sorioni, he's now got 2 assists, I believe, doesn't he? Am I looking at the right thing? Congratulations. Oh, now he's got, yeah. Well, that's nice. He's got 3 points now. 2 goals, 1 assist. Well, that's impressive. Yeah, it said he had 2 points in the last 5 games, so it's like finally something. Otherwise, he was at 1 point. Okay, this is actually more helpful. Yeah, this is where Elite Prospects comes in more helpful instead of just that 1 goal thing, because that was the Liga. That's like the pro. Now he's in the International Junior. 11 games, 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 total points. So my apologies for that. The overall under 20 versus Sarja, 5 assists in 9 games. That's actually not too bad, but don't expect a whole lot of points from him. Generally speaking, that's not the main thing that he offers. Kiviharu, obviously was in the juniors as well, Junior Classic. Did have 3 assists in 7 games. For Liga, 36 games, 4 goals, 7 assists for 11 total points. And International Junior, 1 goal, 4 assists for 5 points in 11 games. He was also the captain for his club in the World Junior Classic. Wrapping things up with Ryder Ritchie, if humanly possible. There he is. Isn't he good? No, I'm just kidding. Medicine Hat Tigers, 32 points. Yeah, so now he's above. Now he's above last year's pace. So there you go, Ryder. I remember for a while there he was struggling. He's definitely stepped up a bit. He was in the World Junior Classics last year for the under 18. He had 8 points in 7 games, but that was last year. He has performed nicely in the postseason play, though, as well, historically. So it's always cool to look at that. Yeah, he has historically been a good postseason guy, even at a super young age in the juniors. But yeah, Medicine Hat Ryder Ritchie's been stepping up a bit, and he was on the list for the top prospects of the week. So go Ryder Ritchie. 17 goals, 15 assists, 32 total points in 30 games. Go Ryder Ritchie, plus 3 overall. So that's encouraging to see. At the end of the day, that's the end of the prospects conversation. Apologize if it gets monotonous at times, but kind of looking at things and stuff not popping up. So my apologies for what took place there. Otherwise, we'll take a quick break and hear from you in the fan interaction segment. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 3, fan interaction segment. Let's jump right to it. At Brave the Wild is the Twitter or X. The Instagram is BraveTheWild_MN. Yeah, of course I messed this up. That's the Instagram. And then the TikTok is paladino.live. So that's just kind of like all the podcasts together. What's the other thing? Facebook.com/BraveTheWild. All right, so let's just again hop to it here. Hop it, boy, hop it. I was saying awesome win by the Wild this afternoon. That was like on MLK Day in Colorado. Ohgren had 2 assists. Derek Belska responded with Jiricek had one too on a great play to dangle by two defenders to set up Trennan's game-winning goal. That was really nice. Yep, and his skating is impressive. That was a really nice assist, yes. So, getting ready for your thoughts. Hashtag it BTWMN. That way we can have everything organized. It does help. So, right away, the Derek Belska lightning round has returned. Oh, yes. And, yep, remember again, Crease Assist Podcast, Derek, Kalisha, and Teresa all do a great job talking about Minnesota Wild on there. Highly recommended to enjoy. That's what's fun about the podcasting world. So let's continue. Rumors have the Wild, this is Derek, of course, rumors have the Wild wanting to make a deal with Vancouver for JT Miller, and most say it will involve Marco Rossi. Why do we want to trade him so bad? And why do we think a nearly 32-year-old forward with 5 more years left in his deal is the right guy? I'm not sure. I think that'd be a mistake. I think it'd be a huge mistake. If the Wild do that, I think that's a huge blemish on the franchise if they make a move like that. There's this win now nonsense when you have Yurov, who's he hasn't even gotten his feet wet in the NHL. Ohgren, who's barely getting his feet wet. Jiricek, who's barely getting his feet wet. We could just go on all day with the list. Brock Faber, who's in his second season. Wallstedt, who's, we'll see what happens there. Let's see, who's this other guy? Zeev William, yeah, maybe him too. The list just goes on and on and on of significant players that are coming to the organization. Charlie Strumel, he might end up being something. Charlie Strumel might end up being something in this organization. It looks like he's very possible. There's a real possibility. All these players that are youthful and Boldy's still pretty young, very young, isn't he? All these young up and coming players in the organization, and then you just say, screw it, let's get JT Miller, let's throw away Marco Rossi just when he's starting to become something in the NHL, like almost a point-a-game player. I guess he's not quite there. He's probably he'll probably finish the season like 60 to 70-ish, around there. Not like 80s, maybe in the next year or two he might be. And just imagine him being good like that with the Vancouver Canucks for many years to come. And JT Miller's, 34, 35 and giving the Wild, 30 points or something. So that'd be...
We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences, so the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Just go to Indeed.com/Blue Wire right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Insanely frustrating. Let's just say Marcus Johansson's numbers. It probably wouldn't drop off that much, but just saying the frustration is legit. So, if the Wild make a move like that, it sounds like something that the Wild would have done in the past for sure. Like Doug Risebrough, Dumpster Doug would definitely do that. And maybe even Chuck Fletcher as well would make something like that. Like, it's a win now. We got to win now, damn it. Well, we are winning. We have a winning record. We have a very much winning record. We're in position to be in a solid place in the postseason. It's not like it's not like it's like gun to our head, we're all going to die if the Wild don't finish with one of the top 3 records in the NHL. In fact, oftentimes those teams don't win the cup. Some of them, especially the President's Trophy team. The Wild had the number 2 record in hockey one year, and what happened to us? Out in the first round. Heck, we didn't even win our division, which is so stupid because Chicago had the best record. Wasn't that lame? Totally figured. And that was the end of their stupid dynasty. Good riddance to those sons of guns. But anyhow, that was 2017. Yeah, all these young players that would fit perfectly with Rossi going forward. Rossi, Marco Rossi. Fine, I'll say it the way you guys do, the way we all do. Anyhow, the okay, you get the idea. But yeah, I mean, all the young players. I mean, that could get me on a huge rant going here. Why would you do that? So that's a $1 million question. And you have veterans, sure, but not Rossi, not Marco Rossi. Draft capital, maybe, but then again, I don't even want to do that anymore. Just let these players develop. Just let them develop. I mean, the ones that are panning out and that are coming here and going to provide something, I don't know. I mean, do you really see it like what's his name's in the way? I think JT Miller would be in the way. As good as he could potentially be at times, I think he would be in the way. In a couple of years, you'd be like, why the F did we do that? Like, it might be exciting for a year or two. But again, like 2 or 3 years from now, why the F did we do that? That's basically what we'd be telling everybody. So, anyhow, awesome question. It got me going, that's for sure. That'd be dumb. Yeah. Andre Nedeljkovic. I'm probably saying it wrong, but I know who it is. Or Alex, not Andre. Alex Nedeljkovic became the first goaltender to have a goal in the NHL, AHL, and ECHL. Wow. Wow. So at all the different levels, even at the ECHL. Wow. And he also became the first goaltender to have a goal and an assist in the same game. A multi-point game for a goaltender. What if he had a shutout too? Wouldn't that be something? Besides a goalie goal, what is the most amazing hockey play you've ever seen? Oh boy, my mind's going to blank. Let's see, is there one? Okay, Tom Hayen says, in person when the boy did his messy impersonation on this helper in Grand Rapids, against Grand Rapids. Is it going to close up a little bit? Let me watch a little closer here, sorry. This is Tom Hayen responding. Oh, that's illegal, though. He kicked the puck. Isn't it? Yeah, messy. Yeah, that's why you're laughing, kind of. Yeah, that's soccer. Yep. That's what you're talking about, yeah. Yeah, they're like, that's funny. Messy impression. I don't know. I mean, there've been probably like some of the saves I've seen that are just like off the charts. Like, how the heck did he get over there in time to stop the puck? Sometimes, like, what was it? One of the goals that, one of the saves that, dare I say, it was a depressing moment, but a save made by Sebastian Jaguar on Marian Gaborik in the Western Conference Final. It was ridiculous. Was that game one? I mean, it was the most ridiculous. Like, how the heck did he even get to that in time? It was stupid. Gaborik was pissed off. He was shaking his head like, you've got to be bleeping kidding me. Stuff like that, I think, are some of the most impressive plays I've ever seen. I'm sure there's quite a few that I could come up with, but I just, my mind's kind of drawing a blank at the moment. But that was one that was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, it was a ridiculous save. I'm trying to think of some others, but obviously like a goal rather than just rather than a save like on the other side. But I'm going to stick with that for now. If something else pops up in my head here, we'll continue with that. Here we go. More former Minnesota North Stars TV play-by-play man Ralph Strangis suggested that Dallas give back to Minnesota the banners, retiring the number for Bill Masterton. Yep, and Bill Goldsworthy. Yep, he was the leading scorer for so long in North Stars history, saying it's not their history, but ours. Do you agree with this? Yes. Yeah. I think that'd be awesome. It would be. I mean, I suppose a lot of times the history kind of goes with the franchise. I wish we could do that. Yeah, doggone it. It is kind of tough. Because I suppose, you know how the history goes with the team and all that. I wish it didn't. I'll say yes, I agree with it. I'll say yes. Just, call me a homer or whatever. I'll say yes, I agree with it, and I would love to see Bill Masterton and Bill Goldsworthy's jerseys in the rafters. That'd be pretty cool, I think. Unfortunately, both of them are gone. Obviously, Masterton died on the ice. A lot of you probably know that story. Oof, you used to have nightmares thinking about that one. And then Goldsworthy, I believe he died of AIDS. I think it was something like that. Complications with AIDS. I think it was something like that, wasn't it? So, if I'm wrong, I deeply apologize, but I know he's no longer with us. Goldsworthy, he was the leading goal scorer for the North Stars for quite a while. Next, other rumors suggest the Wild may be interested in Brock Nelson or Brock Besser. Yeah, I remember when I thought I was making a mistake saying Brock Nelson, it was actually Besser. Nope, it's both. Which one interests me more? Would you be willing to trade young prospects to get them? Or are they too old to want to make a move for them? Or for one and not the other? Both good players. I would say Nelson, gosh, he's 6 years older than Brock Besser. 6 years older, where Besser's Joel Eriksson Ek's age, so that works in terms of, Joel Eriksson Ek is kind of like one of the young veterans on the team. He had 73 points last year, Besser. I think I'd be more interested in Besser, like if it's gun to my head. Nelson, he's 33. I mean, you just look at his profile picture, he's already got gray hair. Big guy, though, 6'4". That's the cool part. He'd be kind of like an Eric Stahl, wouldn't he? Obviously, probably a very different player, where Besser is like a classic right winger. Both of them are, of course, Minnesota, Burnsville, native in Besser's case, Warroad in Nelson's case. And, yeah, what I mixed up when I got Warroad mixed up, I remember, what was it, a week or two ago when I talked about Warroad having I had them mixed up with somebody else. That was Moorhead. Like, what was I talking about? It was completely backwards. I had Warroad's, I was thinking about Moorhead, and when I was thinking about Warroad's logo, so my deep apologies to that, just in case anybody was like, what's wrong with this idiot? Yeah, Warroad has a great logo, yes. Yes, they do. Moorhead, yeah, it's just an M. It's you know what I mean? But so do the Gophers. Anyhow, both of them very nice players. Man, Nelson is a 30-goal kind of guy, 35 goals, 60, 70 points. He's getting up there, though. I don't like the 33 part. And he'll be 34 next year, right as the season starts. 34. I mean, are we ready for a cup run right now this second? I don't know. We're Besser, yep, he's Eriksson Ek's age. He was in the same draft. I mean, he's been brought up many times when people were complaining about the Eriksson Ek pick at the time. Like, man, come on, he isn't doing a damn thing. You know, it's like, gosh, it's like like 40 games and 5 points. You know, come on, Joel Eriksson Ek. And then eventually he just broke through and became something. It's like, you know, going down to the AAA, so to speak. It's like once he got his timing and you know, kind of was able to hone his skills at the AAA level, he was a point-a-game player at the AHL pretty much the whole time, and then couldn't crack it at the NHL, and then all of a sudden he was able to start cracking it at the NHL, and nobody'd want to give up Joel Eriksson Ek now. Besser misses time sometimes, I suppose, but no, that was a shortened season. Generally speaking, yeah, I mean, yeah, he misses a little time, 22, 71 games, 74, but nothing too severe. Nelson, yeah, he's one of those Iron Men type of guys. Yeah, he's played in like every game in the last X amount of years here. He's had at least 5 seasons where he played the whole year. 2 years where he missed only 1 game. The monster. Yep. So there's definitely that. Mr. Reliable. And again, yeah, he reminds me of he'd be an Eric Stahl type of center, like an aging 6'4" center who can still get it done. Yeah, if anything, I mean, it depends on how much you're giving up. I'm kind of afraid to give up too much, but if it's like the Carson Lambos type of guys, I don't think that would kill me. Kind of like giving up Damon Hunt in the Jiricek trade, part of me. It was sad for like about 5 seconds, and then it's like, it is what it is, you know. We'll see what happens with Damon Hunt. He might end up being pretty good, but I don't know. That's the kind of prospect I'm hoping the Wild would give up versus, you know, like Rossi, Marco Rossi. I don't think I'd be real happy if you traded Marco Rossi for a 33-year-old center. I'd be kind of, I mean, you're losing 10 years right there. So naturally, I'd be a bit irritated. Yeah, gun to my head, it's Brock Besser is my choice. The one thing about Nelson is he is a center, so that's always a good thing. It's just, I don't know, if you give up Rossi, at least you get another center back, and a damn good one. maybe they don't do either one of these. Maybe it's going to be some sort of lower end type of move, because I think either one of these is going to cost something. It's not going to be Carson Lambos and a second rounder. I think it'd be more than that. So if that's what it was, it certainly wouldn't kill me for Nelson Besser. That's what I'm leaning towards. So long story longer now that I've gone on and on, but hope you didn't mind my long-windedness there. Hockey Day in Minnesota. This is all Derek. Yep. Hockey Day Minnesota is the weekend. A made-for-TV event that has been going on for nearly 20 years. What is my favorite Hockey Day Minnesota memory? It might be one of the Prosser goals, just generally speaking. I mean, I'm not a huge high school fan, even though I like it, I watch it. But it's just, like, I'm more interested in, like, the tournaments than, like, the Hockey Day. So I'm more like just kind of Minnesota Wild and the heroic goals that end up winning it. Maybe like one of those Nate Prosser game-winning goals that got it done. Because I know Prosser always seems to find a way to score on Hockey Day Minnesota, like back in the day. Like, obviously he's not on the Wild anymore. But the Goligoski one was cool. But then again, he'd been a guy who'd been struggling. It was a great story at the time, but I wouldn't call it like a super great memory. I think it was like just generally speaking, Prosser helping the Wild winning games was pretty cool and pretty special, generally speaking. This is the end of the lightning round, last one. Last time I asked you what former or current Minnesota Wild player made the best Klingon, you said Derek Bugard. Good choice. What current or former Wild player would make the best Romulan? Ooh, well, you know who looks like a Romulan? Jared Spurgeon. Yeah. Even Marc-Andre Fleury a little bit. Oh, Jared Spurgeon. Yeah, Jared Spurgeon's a Romulan. not in the evil, deceptive SOB son of a, the reason why Klingons hate them so much, and I think humans wouldn't like him either. But just the look, like Jared Spurgeon looks like a Romulan, or he could be a too, because they look very similar. Vulcan, he could be Spock. That's probably what he really is, but unfortunately Spock was tall and Spurgeon is not tall. But yeah, he could. Yep. So basically, if you said Vulcan, I would have said Spurgeon, and if you say Romulan, I'll say Spurgeon too. At this stage, since you mentioned Romulan, I'm trying to think of anyone else that might fit the bill. I'm sure there's plenty. Like maybe Ladislav Benesak way back in the day. He kind of had that Romulan look. Even Fleury a little bit. Always deceptively quick. Like you're like, holy crap, how did he get that? Even in his older age. But I'll give it to Jared Spurgeon. Hopefully that's a good choice. Yeah, if it's a former Wild player, that doesn't mean they're our enemy. So, Jay Bushy, wrapping things up, says, do you think the Wild get some puck luck and avoid injuries from now until the end of the season? I certainly hope so. And if they do, it could be a pretty fun season. Maybe finally advancing in the postseason and maybe go on an actual playoff run. It could be if that were to take place. And I'm wanting to think optimistically, like get the injuries out of the way now and pray to God there isn't some last second bull crap, which has happened so many times. Like Brodin out, like what was that like a couple years ago? It's like, here we go again. Ugh, like Spurgeon broke his ankle. Not Spurgeon. Suter broke his ankle. It was depressing. Parisi with back issues, and the list goes on and on. Pominville getting, an elbow to the forehead. Just complete crap. What was that? Dustin Brown, I believe. L.A. Kings. Just, and it would always derail things. It was so depressing. So I'm going to believe so. Because it'd be nice the Wild could actually go on a legitimate playoff run. Like a healthy Brad Bombardier on that 2003 team was a huge, huge reason why that team advanced. More so than people would have thought at the time. You think, Brad Bombardier? Oh, yes, Brad Bombardier. He was when Brad Bombardier was out, it was a big problem. And he was out way too much. When he was healthy, the Wild were just a different team. He was kind of like, in a lot of ways at the time, he was kind of the Brodin of the day. Believe it or not, as lame as that might sound to some people, like Brodin. Brad Bombardier. It's like, yes, back then, yes, he was. He was the closest thing we had to a Brodin back then. which, you know, we were still pretty much in the expansion days at that stage. So with that, we'll wrap things up. Huge shout out to M&W Young Guns, M&W Prospects, Minnesota Wild Global. Obviously, big shout out. Yeah, I didn't give any shout outs last week. I couldn't breathe hardly. I'm like, I'm done. I was coughing so much, and my voice was terrible. So this week I'm a bit better, not completely. Minnesota Wild Nation, Patrick Turner. Obviously, you know, big shout outs all over the place. Of course, Justin Bakke, Pavel Bennett with that M&W Young Guns. And the Crease Assist podcast, absolutely. So thank you again so much for listening. Get your DraftKings Pick 6 app and enjoy yourself and go wild. Continue on a positive trend now that guys are coming back.